Spoštovane in spoštovani, lepo pozdravljeni na današnjem slavnostnem dogodku, ki ga organizira nizozemsko veleposlaništvo v Sloveniji, in sicer na dogodku, ki sovpada s 30-letnico bilateralnih odnosov Kraljevine Nizozemske z Republiko Slovenijo. Danes bomo namreč podelili prvo veleposlanikovo nagrado v Sloveniji, veleposlanikovega tulipana za borca za človekove pravice, ki je bil izbran izmed nevladnih organizacij v Sloveniji. Esteemed guests, Your Excellencies, welcome at this event celebrating democracy and giving recognition to those who protect it. This is the first time the Dutch Embassy in Ljubljana is hosting this event, and I'm confident it will become a traditional affair. A warm welcome to everybody here at Mini Theater and to those watching live stream. The Kingdom of the Netherlands and the Republic of Slovenia are celebrating 30 years of diplomatic relations this year. To mark the occasion, a special prize, the Embassy Tulip, will be handed out for the first time, honoring special achievements in human rights protection. 14 years ago, the Dutch government established the Human Rights Tulip, award to support human rights defenders in their work of advancing and also protecting human rights around the world, highlighting related issues. Now, with the first Embassy Tulip Award ceremony here in Slovenia, Slovenia is becoming one of the 12 countries in which Dutch embassies honor human rights defenders. This very special tulip represents support for efforts to strengthen civil society, the rule of law, and human rights, and to improve the quality of life to all citizens, regardless of their residence, religion, gender, and political affiliation. The prize aims to boost the visibility of the winner, nurture their development, and provide inspiration. And who are the human rights defenders? They stand up for vulnerable groups, expose human rights violations, and fight for justice. Human rights defenders often work under very difficult circumstances, facing death threats, jail, torture, and sadly, even death. Human rights are the basic rights of all people, but they cannot be taken for granted everywhere, not even in Slovenia. That's why the defenders' voices must be heard. Your Excellency, Mr. Johan Verboom, will you please say a few words at the start? Prosim veleposlanika za nagovorne besede.
Wow, I'm very excited for this moment and also to have such a full house. Really great. And I would like to really welcome all of you on this special day, rainy day, a little bit Dutch weather. We tried to give you the complete package. And Martina, thank you so much for giving me the floor and also for being our moderator today, which is very much appreciated and very important. Dobrodošli, dragi gosti, dear guest. Warm welcome from my side and also to all the people who are following us via the live stream. I'm very honored to welcome State Secretary of Justice, Mr. Igor Solters. Thank you so much for being with us. And also Director General for Legal Affairs, International Law, I should say, of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Marko Rakovic. I'm very happy that you are here with us. And also to see esteemed members of Parliament. Thank you for being with us. And also to see so many dear colleagues and members of the Diplomatic Corps. And of course, a huge welcome to all the friends of human rights and rule of law here today. And then most importantly, a warm welcome to our 3 nominated NGOs. I'm very happy and thrilled that we have this event today and that you are here with us. The three nominees, Danes Jenov Dan, Institute 8 March, and the People's Protest Assembly. Maybe a little bit of background to start with. In 2008, the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs initiated the Human Rights Tulip Award to provide a platform and visibility for human rights defenders all over the world, who promote and support human rights in a peaceful and innovative manner. Human rights are the foundation of democracy. Thus, the Netherlands is committed to protecting and promoting human rights worldwide. Priorities of Dutch human rights policy are the freedom of expression, internet freedom, independent journalism, freedom of religion and belief, equal rights for women and girls, equal rights for LGBT people worldwide, and promoting international rule of law and fighting impunity. And today, in The Hague, my minister, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Netherlands, will award the 14th Human Rights Tulip in a row. The Embassy Tulip is a local award derived from this Human Rights Tulip for outstanding and courageous human rights defenders. The Embassy Tulip enables Dutch embassies all over the world to honor local grassroots human rights defenders. And this year, it is the first time that an Embassy Tulip will be awarded here in Slovenia. The nominees have been selected on transparent criteria, amongst others, creativity and impact, using the same score list as the Dutch Human Rights Tulip Award in the Netherlands. And the embassy has consulted the Slovenian NGO umbrella organization, CNVOS, on the short list of the nominees. And I'm convinced that its director, Mr. Goran Forbici, will elaborate shortly. And I want to thank you very much, Mr. Forbici, for being involved in this project and helping us to do it all in a proper way. Today's awarding of the Embassy Tulip is an opportunity to jointly celebrate the importance of human rights, regardless of political color. So today we would like to honor you, our dear nominees, for your valuable and courageous work, and also to offer you a platform to share your story so you can inspire us. Dear guests, human rights defenders have an amazing power to generate change and improve the lives of so many, at the local level, at an international level. But we realize that being a human rights defender comes at personal risk. Their courage stimulates others to speak out, to continue peaceful action for a more just world. The Netherlands is deeply concerned about the deliberate erosion of civic freedoms worldwide. It's disturbing that promoting human rights is becoming more and more dangerous across the globe. Every day, human rights defenders are being bullied on social media, are being threatened, are unlawfully detained, or even beaten up and worse, just for defending human rights and for standing up for the rule of law. And sadly, as a result, fewer people dare to speak out. Some are quick to dismiss human rights as a European invention, or sometimes even a Dutch invention. Let me stress that human rights are universal. Human rights are by no means a Dutch invention, but they certainly are a human invention. Human rights and the rule of law are always about people, the people that are protected by human rights and by the rule of law, but also the people who selflessly work to defend, protect, and develop human rights. Courageous people, unafraid to speak truth to those in power. Human rights defenders who stand up for universal values and freedoms, and for the dignity of every individual. It doesn't matter if we don't agree with each other, but there should always be room to express ourselves in a peaceful fashion. And in the end, I believe we all want the same thing, a fair, inclusive society based on values of human dignity. I'm drawing to an end. I'm very happy to see that representatives of the three main pillars of the rule of law are attending our celebration today. The Slovenian judiciary, the lawmakers, and the executive pillar are here with us today. And together with the NGOs representing the civil society, each and every player plays an essential and different role. All of you together are the checks and balances of a constitutional democracy. Even though, I have to admit, NGOs can be critical and sometimes a little bit annoying to policymakers every now and then. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to close by thanking the STA for being our media partner. They are organizing the live stream, some videos which you will see, and I'm really happy that they are partnering with us for this event. I very much would like to thank Robert Waltel, who is our host, in fact, today, and that we can be here in this beautiful theater. I also would like to thank, even before they performed, Zala and Jan, and also Professor Cesarek, the director of the Ljubljana Music Conservatory, for organizing the musical interludes today. Thank you very much.
Civilna družba, združena v društva, združenja, inštitute in inštitucije, ima pomemben glas. Pomembno je, da ga poslušamo, še bolj pomembno je, da ga odločevalci tudi slišijo. Not only to listen, but to hear the civil society is a plea directed at decision makers. Therefore, I am happy that Mr. Igor Šoltes, a state secretary at the Ministry of Justice, is with us on behalf of the government. Throughout his entire career, human rights and the civil society have played a significant role, both in his capacity as president of the Court of Audit and as the nation's first information commissioner. Z nami je torej v imenu vlade gospod Igor Šoltes, ki ga vabim na oder.
Dear Ambassador, dear Robert, dear guests, dear nominees, I'm very pleased and honored to be today here with you. At the beginning of my very short speech, I have to say that more or less, Mr. Ambassador consumed all my text for the speech. But anyway, as you see, I didn't prepare my speech in advance, especially because, you know, when you work in the government, you really don't know what will happen next hour. And therefore, I think that today's event is focused on the role of our nominees, the role of NGOs, the civil society. And I have to say, during the last 2 years, these NGOs play a really significant, important, fascinating role in Slovenian environment. And I should say, for sure, Ministry of Justice also play an important role as a, how to say, human rights somehow defender, also from the judiciary system, and the ministry as a part of the government. But for sure, government and parliament could create the legal framework, could create the, how to say, platform for defending the human rights. But much more important is how we implement, or how to implement this legal framework. And therefore it's important also to have, through the NGOs, some kind of the critical eye to the government and also to parliament. And I'm quite sure that also this government, not also, but this government will try to do the best way how to protect the human rights on the relevant way. So, for conclusion, because I don't want to be too long, I just want to say congratulations, dear nominees, and you really play important role in Slovenian society. Thank you all for your work. Thank you.
Hvala gospodu Šoltesu. Z nami je tudi generalni direktor za mednarodno pravo in zaščito interesov, Mr. Marko Rakovec. Gospod Marko Rakovec.
Dear Ambassador Verbon, State Secretary, Excellencies, representatives of non-governmental organizations, ladies and gentlemen. As Ambassador, you said, outside is rainy day, but here at Mini Theater is always, I think, a bright and shiny day, and so is today. I'm very happy that you have chosen today's event to mark the 30th anniversary of diplomatic relations, and the relations between the two countries were always excellent. I would like to commend the Kingdom of the Netherlands and the National NGO Umbrella Network for the first time organizing the Dutch Embassy Tulip Award. For the government of Slovenia and for the Foreign Ministry, the promotion and support of the civil society is one of its priorities, since it represents an important, if not crucial, part of democracy. Courageous human rights defenders must be recognized for their invaluable work for our future, for all of us. Often they sacrifice their lives for humanity. They deserve our attention and acknowledgement. Thank you very much.
Danes nismo tu samo, da poudarimo pomen borbe za človekove pravice, ampak da nekatere te borce tudi izpostavimo. Pred nami je predstavitev 3 nominirancev. We are here not only to emphasize the importance of human rights and the rule of law, but especially to honor their defenders. 3 organizations have been nominated and they all get the chance to present themselves. Predstavljam prvega nominiranca. Danes je nov dan. The first nominee, today is a new day.
Danes je nov dan, se je začel kakih 10 let, točno 10 let nazaj. Mene na prvem sestanku ni bilo. Je bil pa to sestanek v nekem kletnem stanovanju na Parmovi. To se je dogajalo v bistvu v času prejšnjih protestov 10 let nazaj proti tisti takratni Janševi vladi. Takrat je nekdo na televiziji, eden od komentatorjev, komentiral, kako ti protesti nimajo nobene politične vsebine, in mi smo rekli, ne, to pa ziher ni res. Tako da takrat smo potem postavili neko spletno stran, kamor smo rekli ljudem, napišite, zakaj protestirate, in odziva je bilo ogromno. In potem na podlagi tega pa neke druge takratne popularne ideologije o tem, kako bo tehnologija pa internet rešila demokracijo, smo začeli skupaj delati stvari in zdaj 10 let kasneje smo tu. Mogoče smo najbolj ponosni na to, da v bistvu že skoraj 10 let izvajamo najrazličnejše projekte, najrazličnejše kampanje, s katerimi opozarjamo in skušamo reševati neka pereča družbena vprašanja, ki se zdijo nam najbolj pomembna. Ja, res izvajamo en kup projektov, mogoče prvi najbolj znan je Parlameter, ki je spletno orodje, s katerim nekako približujemo delo državnega zbora, ga odpiramo javnosti. To orodje smo zdaj prilagodili še za občine, za mestne svete. Potem pa res veliko sodelujemo z drugimi organizacijami, sorodnimi organizacijami civilne družbe. Recimo sodelovali smo pri nastanku upravne mreže, delujemo v sklopu najemniškega SOS-a, res veliko smo sodelovali v iniciativi Glas ljudstva in nekako skušamo ta naša znanja deliti s civilno družbo, da nekako še razširimo, povečamo učinke našega dela.
Torej, naša metoda je v prvi vrsti razvoj digitalnih odprtokodnih orodij in izvajanje različnih takih inovativnih komunikacijskih kampanj. Sodelujemo pa tudi z drugimi nevladnimi organizacijami in civilno-družbenimi organizacijami tako v Sloveniji, kot tudi v tujini. Torej, naša ekipa je zelo edinstvena v tem, da združuje veliko različnih specifičnih znanj, od programiranja do oblikovanja, izvajanja marketinških strategij in na ta način lahko v bistvu zelo celostno pristopimo k reševanju različnih problemov družbe.
Ja, v bistvu smo tarča napadov že kar od samega začetka delovanja. Je pa res, da mogoče so v zadnjih nekaj letih te napadi postali še malo bolj siloviti, retorika še malo bolj zaostrena. Gre za to, da je to nek širši sistemski problem, neka sovražna retorika, ki se širi od različnih politikov, od različnih mnenjskih voditeljev in potem dol. Skušamo pa tudi ta del s svojim delom naslavljati. Smo tudi izvedli en projekt Twitter brigade, ki je točno ta del raziskoval, kako določene politične stranke širijo sovražni govor s pomočjo nekih lažnih javnosti na družbenih omrežjih. V bistvu najbolj nas motivira, ko slišimo od recimo občinskih funkcionarjev, da so s pomočjo naših orodij odprli delovanje občine ali pa od občank in občanov, da lahko zdaj lažje spremljajo ali pa celo sodelujejo v delovanju lokalne samouprave. Ko recimo slišimo od protestnic in protestnikov, ki so zaradi mirnega izražanja stališč dobili ogromne kazni, da so zaradi pravne pomoči bile te nekako zbrisane. Ko se najemnice in najemniki obračajo na nas, da zdaj bolj poznajo svoje pravice, da lažje nastopajo proti izkoriščevalskim najmodajalcem. V glavnem, ko slišimo od ljudi, katerim so naše kampanje namenjene, da ima naše delo nek učinek.
Poleg izjemne vloge, ki jo danes izpostavljamo, pa civilno-družbena združenja, društva delujejo tudi povezovalno, kar je v Sloveniji izjemnega, če ne rečemo nadizjemnega pomena. Povezuje pa tudi glasba, tudi današnji dogodek. Z nami bosta študenta Konzervatorija za glasbo in balet v Ljubljani, ki se nam bosta zdajle pridružila, bosta Zala in Žan. Civil movements bring people together in their efforts to create a better future. Similarly, the boundless and timeless nature of music also brings people closer together. Welcome Zala Arendt and Žan Berloznik, students of the Ljubljana Conservatory of Music and Ballet. They will perform If My Complaints Could Passions Move by John Dowland.
Wherein I suffer wrong.
Hvala, Zala in Žan. Mi pa gremo na naslednjega drugega nominiranca, to je protestna ljudska skupščina. The second nominee, People's Protest Assembly.
Jaz sem Jaša Nul, po izobrazbi sem gledališki režiser in moja zgodba se je začela tam nekje na začetku epidemije, ko smo sedeli doma in spremljali, kaj se dogaja v državi, in v enem momentu se je meni zazdelo, da je nujno treba se aktivirati, in sem najprej začel rekreirati solo z raznimi transparenti in napisi. Potem se je pa to spremenilo v eno več kot 2 let dolgo zgodbo tega, da smo se skupaj borili za svobodo govora, za demokracijo in za ustavo. Seveda smo najbolj, po mojem, znani po tem kolesarjenju, ki je potekalo v bistvu več kot 105 petkov tukaj na tem trgu, in na to, da smo vzdrževali vsak petek proteste, ki pa so bili izrazito nenasilni, vsebinski, tudi s humorjem podkrepljeni, z umetniškimi akcijami in tako naprej. Vsak od protestov je bil neka druga zgodba, to smo se mi tudi prizadevali, zato ker pač vzdrževati toliko časa nek naboj je v bistvu nekaj, kar je izjemno težko. Sigurno, ne vem, mi ostane v spominu od pisanja skredov tukaj na ograjenem delu trga, do raznih snežnih sporočil vladi, do potem tudi recimo čisto zadnjega koncerta, ki se je tukaj zgodil, ki je pozval vse ljudi na volitve 24. aprila. Doživljali smo represijo vseh možnih oblik, od te direktne policijske represije, da so nas vlekli z tega trga, čeprav smo brali samo ustavo, do tega, da smo doživljali tudi fizično nasilje, lomljenje zapestij in seveda pa tudi kazni, ki smo jih dobivali. Jaz osebno imam še vedno za okrog 50 000 evrov kazni, ki niso razrešene, ki čakajo na obravnavo na sodišču. Omeniti pa je treba seveda tudi te desničarske medije, ki so nas ves ta čas napadali, blatili in hujskali v bistvu ljudi proti nam kot posameznikom. Najbolj sem ponosen predvsem na to, da se nismo pustili ustaviti, da se nismo pustili ustrahovati in da smo preko teh akcij, preko teh protestov nekako ohranjali ta duh upora, ta kritičnost do situacije, ker to se mi zdi najbolj nevarno, da v nekih momentih, ko se pojavi nevarnost tiranije, da se ljudje ustrašijo in utihnejo ravno takrat, ko bi morali biti v bistvu najbolj glasni. Naš cilj, po mojem, je bil to, da preprečimo ta zdrs v totalitarizem, da preprečimo, da Slovenija postane nova Poljska ali pa Madžarska, in to mislim, da smo uspešno dosegli. Drug cilj je pa seveda bil tudi to, da nočemo samo se vrniti na tako, kot je bilo prej, ker tudi prej ni bilo idealno, in zdaj trenutno je naš cilj to, da v bistvu civilna družba, aktivni državljanke in državljani dobimo več moči, besede in možnosti odločanja v tej državi, in zato se je tudi oblikovala iniciativa Glas ljudstva, ki prav na tem dela, da probamo zahtevati od politike, da dejansko vodi svoje odločitve glede na realne potrebe ljudi in okolja, ne pa kapitala ali pa nekih privatnih interesov. Motivira me po eni strani to, da hočem zagotoviti svojima 2 hčerkama boljšo dejansko prihodnost oziroma neko mirno prihodnost, kjer lahko izražata svoje mnenje in sta, kdor hočeta biti, brez strahu. Me pa motivira pa seveda tudi ta možnost tega, da dejansko dobimo neko politiko, ki ni samo strankokracija. Na osebnem nivoju, da se pospravim na petkih, recimo na mraz ali pa na sneg, je pa blazno pomenilo tudi to, da tudi, ko hodim po Sloveniji, da prihajajo do mene ljudje ali pa do nas, da prihajajo ljudje in rečejo hvala za to, da ste, hvala, da je nekdo, ki je glasen, to tudi nam daje moč in upanje. Jaz mislim, da človek sam ne more v resnici ničesar doseči ali pa spremeniti, lahko samo skupina ljudi, in jaz sem ful srečen in vesel, da smo se po nekem spletu naključij tukaj znašli skupaj na tem trgu z Sanjo, Branetom, Tejo, Sandro, Saro, Janom, Petrom, Matjažem, Dejanom in vsemi ostalimi, ki smo te 2 leti si dali energijo, moč, pogum in poskrbeli, da ni zamrl ta upor.
Pri izboru nominirancev je seveda veleposlaništvu pomagala krovna organizacija nevladnih združenj CNVOS, ki združuje preko 1500 društev, inštitutov. Njihovo znanje pa je tisto, s čimer podpira vse nevladne organizacije pri razvoju in jih tudi opogumlja pri kreativnosti in seveda pri kritični misli. In z nami je direktor, ki ga vabim na oder. The three nominees were shortlisted partly based on input from the umbrella network of Slovenians NGOs. CNVOS, the organization, brings together over 1,500 associations and societies, institutes and institutions. Its knowledge and experience, and above all, its expertise is in advocacy, law, project management, finance, and communication, provide comprehensive and professional expert support to Slovenia's NGO sector, developing its potential and encouraging creative and critical thinking. We have the pleasure of company of Mr. Goran Forbici, the director of the umbrella network of Slovenian NGOs.
Dear Ambassador, dear nominees, Excellencies, guests, and first of all, my dear NGO colleagues. Well, my task is even more difficult than Igor's. I'm the last. That's why I'm without a written speech, because whenever I was speaking the last in the past and I had a speech prepared, I had to change too much since those speaking ahead of me made so many points I wanted to make. I will try to be short, although I'm known for short introductions in 7 parts, but nevertheless. Human rights, tricky thing, I would say. Deemed to be universal, granted to everybody unconditionally, woven in our daily lives, in our laws and informal rules, but the flip side of this is that we usually simply tend to forget about them. We don't ask ourselves, why do we have them in our daily life? Last 2 years have been sad and difficult for most of us in Slovenia, but still in a cynical way I can see some positive things in them as well. The first lesson I think we all learned is that human and civil rights are not something that is granted forever, but something that is per nature fragile and can be always under attack. Therefore it demands our constant attention and reflection, and it also demands those that are here to defend them, to watch over not only the government but over us as well. The second positive thing is that not only the pandemic but the moves by the former government. I know, Ambassador, I have promised I will not be speaking about the previous government, because today here we are celebrating human rights and our NGOs, but nevertheless, even though their actions trying to enforce authoritarian regime has brought spotlight also to our NGOs dealing with civil rights. I think now many of people living in the country are well aware that it is not the firefighters that are the only ones important among the civil societies, but that we need those defending human rights as well, and that we need to support them constantly. I would also like to remind us all that similarly as the human rights organizations and groups fought for the rights of most of us in the past 2 years, in normal times they fight for the rights of minorities and the underprivileged. So we should not forget to support them even when times are normal, and therefore I hope also in the future. I'm really grateful to the embassy and the ambassador for bringing the Tulip Award also to Slovenia, the local one. I would say that awarding human rights activists is always a difficult and ungrateful task, because how can you choose the most distinguished between the distinguished. Nevertheless, we were glad to assist. I'm happy about all the nominees. I very much think that they all deserve the prize. It would probably be pointless to list all the achievements of the Institute 8. Marec in the past years. I would say that colleagues from 8. Marec are matchless in their zeal, enthusiasm, creativity. I like to say that they somehow revolutionized civil activism in Slovenia. Their communication methods, activities, approaches, yes, they are familiar in the Anglo-Saxon world, but they're not something that has been used widely so far here in Slovenia. Therefore, I'm also very glad when I'm looking around to my other colleagues and their work that the activities 8. Marec has introduced in Slovenia are now being already copied by my other colleagues simply because they are very effective. I'm personally also very fond of their hearts, bunnies, and batsekion. Authoritarians around the globe tend to perceive them very seriously. And it angers them even more than resistance if you don't take them serious. So, thank you, 8. Marec. Danes je nov dan. Well, there are many things why they should deserve the award. We have seen what is the broadness of their work. They're possibly most known for their humor and sense of political satire. Yes, I would say they are second to none in that. Nothing's lost for democracy if humor is still there, so we should not forget how to laugh, and that's why I'm grateful to Danes je nov dan that even when times are really hard, they try to make us laugh. Nevertheless, there is another area of their work that deserves recognition, area that is usually not very known and it's not that much at the spotlight. For the past 10 years, there has been almost none civil society activities, public communications that would not be digitally supported by the Danes je nov dan. I see it as a theater work, as a backstage work, but nevertheless essential for the spectacle to take place. So I'm grateful to the Dutch embassy that it was able to recognize also this part of the Danes je nov dan's work that usually remains not seen by others. Protestna ljudska skupščina and the circle around Jasha. To avoid being too long, I will say only this. It is easy to cycle and protest when there is 40,000 people cycling with you. It is hard, damn hard, to cycle when there is only a few of you left. Jasha is not only somebody that has been protesting and speaking for our rights most loudly and at the very beginning, but he's also the one that has continued his struggle when things looked very bad. I was joking 2 weeks ago with a colleague reporter from Mladina that if in April here in Slovenia it would not be about restoration of democracy but restoration of a kingdom, those I have been mentioning so far would probably be awarded with a lifelong appanage and the right to sit by the king even when he is standing. Unfortunately, in democracies, we are less fond of awarding individual valor, but this is why I'm especially grateful to the Dutch embassy that had the courage and the will to recognize the bravery of all I was speaking about, even if those in Slovenia that are responsible and have the honor and the duty to award state awards or here this and that apples were not able to do that. So congratulations to all the nominees and congratulations to the Dutch Embassy. I hope we continue this good practice. Thank you.
V bistvu je govor razkril tretjega nominiranca. The third nominee is Institute 8 March. The third nominee, torej tretji nominiranec, Inštitut 8. marec, kot smo slišali v zadnjem govoru.
Inštitut 8. marec je skupina prijateljev in prijateljic, v večini starih pod 35 let, ki si prizadeva za družbeno enakopravnost in se ob tem ima tudi zelo dober. Cilj Inštituta 8. marec se je v bistvu boriti proti različnim oblikam neenakosti, pisati zakone, ki zagotavljajo boljše življenje za vse, delati referendumske kampanje in biti tam, kjer se dogajajo krivice. V Inštitutu 8. marec smo začeli s kampanjo za redefinicijo kaznivega dejanja posilstva, ja pomeni ja. Potem smo vskočili v času referenduma za čisto pitno vodo kot gonilna organizacijska sila te kampanje. Koordinirali smo kampanjo Gremo volit in kampanjo za sprejetje zakona proti škodljivim ukrepom oblasti in zdaj smo bili izjemno aktivni na kampanji za depolitizacijo medijev. Mislim, da je bila za Inštitut 8. marec najpomembnejša akcija samo ja pomeni ja, ker smo se prvič odpravili po celi Sloveniji, prvič smo delali z našimi izjemnimi prostovoljci in prvič smo dokazali, da se lahko tudi pod desno vlado stvari spremenijo na bolje. Kampanja za čisto pitno vodo je bila naša najbolj nenavadna in drzna odločitev. To je bila ogromna referendumska kampanja, ki smo jo delali brez sredstev, pokazala se je pa izjemna solidarnost ljudi, drug drugemu so pisali pisma, naj pridejo na volišče, taksisti so ponujali prevoz starejšim in na koncu smo tudi zmagali za zelo veliko večino in ta kampanja nas je naučila, da so čudeži možni. V sami ekipi si vedno delo delimo in v vsaki kampanji nekdo upravlja neko drugo delo, torej verjamemo v rotacijo in verjamemo, da je vsako delo častno, vedno pa tudi najdemo najbolj nenavadne zaveznike, s katerimi bijemo bitke, verjamemo v široko in povezano skupnost, zelo pomembni pa so za nas tudi prostovoljci, ki jih imamo po celi Sloveniji in tvorijo lokalne odbore inštituta. Jaz mislim, da smo v kolektivu najbolj ponosni na to, da smo po 4 norih letih nenehnega dela, številnih napadov, podtikanj, tega, da smo imeli kdaj občutek, da smo popolnoma sami, še vedno ostali izjemno povezan kolektiv. Za nami je zdaj že druga referendumska kampanja v enem letu, vsi smo grozno izčrpani, ampak še vedno neskregani, še vedno se imamo noro radi in se mi zdi, da v tem svetu pogosto pozabimo, koliko pomembna je ekipa in koliko pomembno je, da v bistvu ta ekipa ustraja skupaj. V inštitutu smo v zadnjih 2 letih bili deležni številnih groženj, tako name osebno kot na celoten kolektiv. Več zadev imamo odprtih na sodišču, določene stvari preiskuje policija, deležni smo bili fizičnega napada, ena oseba je bila že pravnomočno obsojena, zaradi tega, ker je meni osebno grozila smrtjo, so pa te grožnje samo mehanizem utišanja in mi se ne umikamo. Jaz mislim, da smo mi nekaj čist nenavadnega na slovenski sceni. Smo ena taka pisana kepa upanja in veselja, ki pač vedno znova poskuša fajta in verjame, da se je potrebno boriti za stvar, tudi če zmaga ni zagotovljena, ker je to preprosto prav in vedno se borimo do konca in mislim, da je to nekaj novega. Mi dobivamo ogromno motivacije z vsemi ljudmi, s katerimi sodelujemo. Ravno smo končali eno veliko kampanjo, kjer smo bili ogromno na terenu in to, da ti v majhnih vaseh, mestih najdeš ljudi, ki se identificirajo s svojo organizacijo, ki verjamejo v iste stvari, ki želijo pomagati drug drugemu, je za naš največji dokaz, da nekaj delamo prav.
Pred razglasitvijo zmagovalca bomo še malce podaljšali pričakovanje, ampak na lep način in sicer z glasbo. Zala in Žan se mi bosta ponovno pridružila na odru. Now that we've seen all three nominees, it is time to declare the winner. But before that, we will once again get to enjoy the musical talents of Zala and Jan. They will be performing Come Again, Sweet Love. In the first verse, Zala will urge the beloved to come to her again so they can enjoy together the pleasures of love, to see, to hear, to touch, to kiss, to die. In Žan, prosim, če se mi pridružite ponovno na odru. Prve rože podeljujemo danes. Sta hitro šla dol, prehitro, še en aplavz, hvala. Podelili smo prve rože, čas pa je za najpomembnejši cvet današnjega dogodka. Pridružil se mi bo ponovno veleposlanik. Now that we've handed out the first flowers, we can move on to the most important bloom of today's event, the first Slovenian Embassy Tulip. Your Excellency, Mr. Verblum, will you please join me on the stage to announce the winner?
Yeah, so we are arriving at the big moment. But before I announce the winner, I would like to give you very little bit of background how we got to the shortlist of these three nominees. As I mentioned before, we have used the same scorecard as in the Netherlands with the Human Rights Tulip. And the main criteria for this were the contribution to the human rights priorities of the Netherlands, as I mentioned in my speech earlier, the level of repression and risks they face, their level of innovation and creativity, the impact they have, and who their beneficiaries are. and last, the amount of partnering they do with others. And as I said, for the Embassy Tulip here in Slovenia, there's a special emphasis on NGOs that work in innovative ways, bringing people and organizations together to further human rights. With these nominees today, the People's Protest Assembly, Danes Jenov Dan, and the Institute 8 March, it was extremely difficult to make a choice. Goran already explained a little bit about this. And it was a very close race. But we only have one tulip to award. This is the one. And it is now my pleasure to open the envelope and to announce the winner. And the winner is Danes Jenov Dan. Indeed. Indeed, very much deserved. Huge applause. And Maya, can I come you to come here together with your team, actually. With the team. Please come forward. Join us on the stage. The whole Danes Jenov Dan team. Maya, please. This is the tulip. Maybe a bit smaller than you expected, but very well deserved for you and your team.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, but that's not everything, because the tulip always goes, this is nice for in the cupboard somewhere, nice place, but it always goes with an amount of money, which is 5,000 euros for your organization to continue your very good and important work. So again, congratulations. And of course, also the congratulations to the whole team. And while you are receiving flowers, let me highlight a couple of elements very briefly of the jury report. Since 2013, Danes Jenov Dan has been actively involved in the development of digital solutions for political participation, transparency and accountability. Using technology, you encouraged and enabled people to take an active role in democratic processes and become well-informed citizens. You were one of the founding members of the Legal Network, which recently received the prestigious European Parliament's Citizens' Prize. By supporting other NGOs and civil initiatives with their technological platforms, Danes Jenov Dan has acted as a non-biased enabler of active citizenship within the boundaries of the rules of a constitutional democracy. I would like to mention one initiative, or highlight, it has already been mentioned in your video, the Parliameter, which is really a very innovative way to help citizens to make the politicians which they have chosen for, to make them accountable and to see whether they are delivering what they have promised. Very innovative concept. With all that, I again would like to congratulate you all and thank you very much. And now we go back to the moderator. Thank you.
Preden vas, spoštovane in spoštovani, vse povabim na oder, da čestitate prvim dobitnikom prvega tulipana, veleposlanikovega tulipana v Sloveniji, imamo še posebno čestitko, ki prihaja z Nizozemske. Let's listen to one more very special congratulation by the Human Rights Ambassador of the Dutch Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ms. Bahia Tazip Lee.
Human rights matter at all times, both online and offline. They form the basis for everything we hold dear: democracy, rule of law, stability, and sustainable development. Human rights are for everyone, no matter who you are, where you're from, what you do, who you love, and what you believe in. To deny people their human rights is to rob them of their very humanity. Human rights defenders like you matter. Your work is sorely needed because human rights are under tremendous pressure all over the world. Human rights that you bravely fight for under difficult conditions. That is why I'm thrilled that you are awarded the 2022 Embassy Tulip. This prize is a token of our deep appreciation and respect for your courageous work. We hope this award will enable you to continue working to create positive change in the lives of many and help even more people in need. It is significant that the Embassy Tulip Award ceremony takes place during Human Rights Week, a new Dutch initiative. During this week, we encourage everyone to speak with children, youth, and students about why human rights are so important, to increase human rights awareness among our future leaders, teachers, entrepreneurs, artists, employers, employees, and our future human rights defenders. Because the world needs more human rights defenders like you. To stop violence against women and girls, to promote equal rights for LGBTIQ+ persons, to advance freedom of expression, to end discrimination based on religion and belief, and to speak out against impunity and corruption. In closing, I'd like to say congratulations. Your remarkable bravery, strength, and resilience are truly inspirational. Your courage inspires others not to lose hope. Thank you. Human rights matter.
Iskrene čestitke še enkrat dobitnikom prvega veleposlanikovega tulipana. Čeprav je veleposlanik prej rekel, da ste mogoče pričakovali večjega, verjamem, da bo z leti rastel. In tega si želimo. Iskrene čestitke še enkrat. Izvolite. Spoštovani gostje, kot omenjeno, smo v posebnem tednu človekovih pravic, zato povabljeni, da se pridružite vsem nam, ki bomo tu tudi jutri, in sicer na povabilo nizozemskega veleposlaništva bo tu na ogled film Stop Filming Us, but Listen, film, ki prikazuje izjemno borbo, tudi z neke druge strani, več pa ne bom povedala. Pridite jutri v mini teater in si film tudi oglejte. Dear guests, we have come to the end of the first Embassy Tulip Award ceremony in Slovenia. Allow me to invite you back to the mini theater again tomorrow for the screening of Stop Filming Us But Listen, organized by the Embassy of the Netherlands in Slovenia as part of the Human Rights Week. The film takes a closer look at the imbalance of power inherited from colonialism and its consequences on the representation of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Dutch government has recently launched the initiative Human Rights Week, as the ambassador said, to help raise awareness about human rights worldwide, because human rights matter at all times. They are the foundations of a democracy in which every person counts. A big thank you to everybody helping to build the foundations of democracy, an effort in which each of us has their own mission and voice. We are bidding goodbye to the audience watching us on our live stream, but those of you here in Mini Theatre, please join us on stage to congratulate the first Embassy Tulip winner in Slovenia. Torej, hvala lepa vsem, ki ste bili z nami preko neposrednega prenosa. Vam že mahamo v slovo in vam želimo lepe praznične dni. Za prazničnimi dnevi pa potem kmalu pride tudi pomlad in z njo tulipani. Tudi v Sloveniji danes je bil pripeljan nizozemski, ampak tudi slovenski bodo rasli tukaj z nami. Od vas se poslavljamo. Vsi, ki ste z nami v živo, boste povabljeni v nadaljevanju na oder, da skupaj z zmagovalci proslavimo prvi veleposlanikov tulipan v Sloveniji. I hope we all have a wonderful holiday season, and then spring will come once again, bringing with it the first colorful burst of tulips. Srečno! Obiskovalci, da se nam ponovno pridružite na odru, in vsi obiskovalci, da jim podate roko v želji, da bodo ti tulipani rasli. In hvala, da ste prišli, hvala, da ste se oglasili, bomo rekli, in proslavili prvi veleposlanikov tulipan v Sloveniji. Vabljeni.